Hello YouTube. Robert Alvarez, the Psychic Witch, also known as Mr. Lighting on a Fan. Good evening. So, it's been a while since I've done a video where I talk about the experiences that I have at a certain public venue. So, I just want to say, Amy, the living goddess who founded the Moon Serpent and Bone markets, has spoiled me. Has absolutely spoiled me. I mean, I don't even know where to begin. So first of all, her energy's lovely. That's number one. Number two, she is committed to everyone having a successful evening at all of her events. And number three, she does something that I have longed for, hungered for, with any and every public venue, especially psychic fairs, and that is a cleansing and blessing ritual before the event begins. I want to tell you, that means all the worlds and beyond to me. It's always optional, and I always opt to be a part of it because it's just so beautiful and so powerful. And, Amy is a sin eater. That's a term that is not a common term these days, but a sin eater is somebody who takes the gunk in your body, in your space, in your consciousness, and eats it up. And let me tell you something, being a sin eater is no joke. It's no joke. So that she chooses to do that willingly and lovingly is a huge, huge honor, makes a huge, humongous, ginormous difference, and it's just beautiful. And so this was my first time doing, being available for a Samhain Festival. This was the Moon Serpent and Bone 5th annual Samhain Festival, which was last Friday, October 13th, 2023. It was by the way, last Friday was the last October the 13th of 2023. If memory serves, there will not be another Friday the 13th until September 2024. So I'm like, wow, that's a long time. But anyway, so it was my first time at Revel 32 on Cannon Street in Poughkeepsie, New York. It was my first time again, being available for a Samhain Festival. We had joked about it being the night of the Stairmaster because the readers were on the 3rd floor. That area is called Lauren's Suite. I don't know who Lauren is, but they have a suite named after her. All these tables, a few loungy areas and couches and whatnot. And I loved it. And of course, I love the fact that I got so much exercise that day because that morning I had gone to the fitness center in the hotel in which I was staying. So I got plenty of exercise on Friday, day and Friday night. That was the running joke, night of the Stairmaster, because we did not need to use a Stairmaster when all was said and done. I really loved just the whole energy. I loved meeting people that I'd never met before. And of course, I was absolutely in the presence of Tracy the Reader. Tracy the Reader, there are two Tracys that are regulars at the Moon Serpent and Bone markets. One I call Tracy the Reader because she's a psychic reader and she reads tarot cards and oracle cards. And the other one is Tracy the Baker because guess what? She's a professional baker. And I love her stuff. Oh my goddess. So it once the night started, it took about maybe 2 hours after the official start time for people to start going upstairs to the 3rd floor. And once that happened, it was like, it was nonstop. And I had something happen that I've never had happen before. And remember, I can only speak for myself. I cannot speak for anybody else. But if anybody else who was there, who was either a vendor or a reader or a practitioner, and they want to chime in the comments, please feel free. I would love to hear what your experiences were like as well. So, first of all, once the night started going, something happened to me that had never happened before, and that was that I actually had a few people waiting to have a session with me, which that usually doesn't happen, but I guess because of the way the night was structured, and I guess because of the way of the venue was structured with the 3 floors, it was like, yeah, some people were eating and drinking, some people were watching the show, and some people were like, you know what, I feel like having a reading. I love the fact that I wasn't just offering readings. I love the fact that I conducted a goddess energy healing treatment, and the goddess who was the focus was Imoja, the Afro-Caribbean defender and protectress of women and their children. And it's so funny because Yemaya is a goddess I don't work with that often, which is so ironic considering how many attributes she has in common with my mother goddess, the goddess more commonly known as Isis. And after that, I thought that her best friend was going to have a goddess energy healing treatment as well. But no, I started listening to her and what she was talking about, and I'm like, oh, this is a metaphysical consultation. I haven't written about that. And I actually see myself writing a blog post about metaphysical consultations because they're just a different experience than a reading, for me anyway. So the interesting thing was that the official start time was 6 p.m. Eastern Time. The official end time was 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And at one point, Amy had said to one of the other readers, listen, if it's busy and you want to keep going, keep going. Because the Witches' Ball was from 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. So we knew that we could stay until 1 a.m. if we wanted to. And the funny thing is that we came close. We started winding down a little bit after midnight, and I think it was around 12:15 or 12:20 a.m. that I concluded my last session of the night. It definitely always makes me happy from a professional perspective to lose count of how many clients with whom I meet. I always dig that. That does not get old for me ever, okay? That was number one. And the people with whom I had sessions just had great energy. In fact, one of them was a vendor. And, you know, it's not every day that I have the opportunity to conduct a session with a vendor because, you know, they're busy vending while I'm busy offering my psychic services. So the fact that a vendor took time to have a session with me honored me greatly. The fact that Amy recommended me to this particular individual honored me even more greatly. And I loved the fact that I was getting exercise. I loved the fact that there were so many great energies. And, you know, it was a part of Poughkeepsie that was unfamiliar to me. So, you know, here I am in the back of my mind thinking, okay, now I'm a little more familiar with Poughkeepsie, New York's geography. It was an amazing evening. There was some loudness. There was some moments of chaos. There were some moments that were like, this bitch is way too loud and I'm not even the bitch. And there were other moments that were like, you know what, this was really amazing. You know, I'm so accustomed to offering sessions at a public venue and there being one session, whether it's a reading or an energy healing treatment, that is a divine appointment. But this night, there were 3 clients with whom I met that their sessions were divine appointments. One was a reading. And the reading was with a deck that I've never used before with clients. It's called the Wicca Pack. I'll include the information about that deck in the description box. And one was a goddess energy healing treatment. And I had not conducted a goddess energy healing treatment in several months. and then her best friend having a metaphysical consultation. These 3 sessions were the true divine appointments of the evening, and it was just amazing. It was just absolutely amazing. And it really made me happy also because, I had never been drawn to make myself available during one of the Moon Serpent and Bone Samhain festivals. But Tracy the reader talked about it. And I loved what she said about it. And, I was like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot this year. Because after we talked about it last year, in fact, I think she and I talked about it during the 4th annual Yule Festival last year in December of 2022. When she talked about it, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do it this year, meaning this year, 2023. And I'm so happy I did. I'm so happy I did. It really made me very happy. I met a lot of great people, and I want to acknowledge the staff of Revel 32. My interactions with them were minimal, but I could tell the few that I had, these staff people were just on the ball. They were absolutely on the ball, taking care of business the right way, and I am so happy that this is, I believe this is the official Moon Serpent and Bone Samhain Festival venue, because this was the venue last year, and I believe it was the venue in the 3rd annual Samhain Festival, which was 2021. So I look forward to returning to Revel 32 in October of 2024. Of course, I want to thank Amy once again, the living goddess of the Moon Serpent and Bone markets, for her generosity, for her kindness, for her magic, for her care, for her professionalism, for spoiling me big time and reminding me how it's supposed to be. Because make no mistake, me twiddling my thumbs and reading a book for 2 hours is not how it's supposed to be. Because I can spend not even a penny staying home reading a book for 2 hours. But if I'm traveling and I'm spending money for hotel and transportation and taxi and food to be available to attend a public venue, to increase my professional clientele, there needs to be a return. And the return with Amy's Moon Serpent and Bone markets is always higher than the investment. So that always makes me happy. And of course, I want to thank all of the other amazing readers and practitioners and vendors for all of their good juju and their great products and services. And of course, I once again must thank the staff of Revel 32 for being so on the ball and being so professional and friendly and capable. I'm just immensely happy and pleased. And of course, I want to thank all of you in YouTube land for honoring who I am and what I do, and for all the likes, all the comments, all the shares, and all the subscriptions to my YouTube channel, and of course an extra big and extra beautiful and extra bountiful thank you to everyone who had a session with me that night, and to everyone who's already scheduled their session since then. I am honored, I am thankful, and I am most amazingly blessed. Good night, have a wonder-filled weekend, and stay tuned for the next video.